All right. Welcome to the second episode of the Sophia Files. I'm so excited. I don't know why we're live streaming. See, same issue, different day. But we have an amazing episode going for you. We're kind of talking about the darkness, the things that go bump in the night. I'm very excited. We're going to cover cryptids. We're going to cover skinwalkers. We're going to cover Epstein, of course, the major monster on the table these days. And through that, how to kind of determine when we see darkness within somebody, when you encounter evil in the day to day, because that does happen. And then we're going to cover a couple of divorces later and some of our kiddos, and we're just going to have a good time of it. So I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves. I'll start with Miss Danica, and we'll go to Ariel and then Melissa.
Hi, I'm Danica Olson.
And
Hey, I'm Ariel. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good.
And I'm Melissa.
And what is it? I would say, Danica, what are your gifts, and kind of go through what you believe that you have. What is it that you bring, I guess, to the table? Because we recognize we're all here, kind of not showing up as our ego, but
I am gifted. I have been blessed with mediumship. So, yeah, I'm wanting to bring peace to a lot of people because it helped me.
perfect. Ariel.
I believe that I'm going to be a jack of all trades type sort.
I love it. And Miss Melissa?
So very strong with the clairsentience, definitely feeling other people's feelings and claircognizance with just, those thoughts dropping in my head. I have a healthcare background and have done healing in the past when I was doing body work sessions, and that's kind of the direction that I want to keep going in.
Awesome, awesome. And my name's Sophia Sterling. I'm the other half of the Wolf and the Bear podcast, and I would say I'm pretty claircogent. I'm somewhat of a medium, and so we're off to the races. Let's do this thing. Okay. So I'm going to start with Danica, and what we're, as like the last time, we're asking our guides to come close to us. We're getting fully in our body, and we're sort of going on what do we feel or what do we hear around these words, especially if you don't know much about them. That's even better, right? And so I'm actually going to start with Melissa. They want you to start, and they want you to start on the topic of cryptids. What does that bring to you? If you don't even know what that means, what does that make you feel? What do your guides say?
So I literally just defined this today. I wasn't even quite sure what that was. My husband is much more into the things that go bump in the night than I am. Um, so and I didn't even set the stage before we started this. I should have gotten a little more
That's okay. Because
connecting
remember,
with
we're
the
not using us, we're channeling.
I didn't even set that connection up ahead of time. So, all right,
It's
let's see.
okay.
That they're real. They hide in the shadows. Some people do see these, and unfortunately, the ones who do don't often get believed because it is so outlandish. They do show themselves, but like Bigfoot, nobody wants to believe it.
1,000%. Danica, what are you feeling around it?
I am feeling it's like shadowy, like dark shadows. Um, I keep getting the image of like an evil Groot. That's what I'm being
I love
shown.
it. Okay.
So
I love it. And Ariel, what about you?
I feel that they're not from our Earth as we know it. Definitely. They are popping in and out as if to make themselves known, but only to select few. I believe that the people that see them, it's not by accident.
So let's feel into that. Melissa, what do you think would make somebody ideal, or why would a cryptid choose them to be seen? Or is it a choice?
it's definitely a choice. For lack of a better term, they want to feed off of people. So whether it's that desperation situation or they're already in a state of fear, there's something that they get to feed off of. Um, so yeah.
Danica, what do you feel?
I feel like it's almost like a choice to go into that dark state, and it's almost like they invite them in.
Okay. And do you agree that there's a feeding aspect?
I feel like it goes both ways.
Interesting. let's feel that out. What aspect would go both ways, Ariel? What does that mean?
It is that to be seen. I feel like the people that are seeing them are not exactly seen in their life and like in their personal life.
Mm.
And with the cryptids that nobody seen, and there's not a lot of proof of, they're not really seen either.
Ooh, I just got a really interesting match. I just heard there's a frequency match.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. Now I want to ask, because this is always a question that people have: are they man-made? Melissa, I'll let you key off on that.
I don't think so. Not in the sense that they were intentionally made. I do think that there is a frequency match in terms of like they're coming in from like another dimension, and that's why they are not like you can't just wait and like you're bird watching.
Right.
You can't just wait and catch them on picture. It's just there is a right condition, a right frequency for them to come in. But I think that's also that symbiotic situation between the person who is in a state that they tend to gravitate towards. So
And Danica, what do you feel? Is there a man-made component, or do you feel that they are in their own entities, like in their own existences?
There's a part of me that feels like there's a little piece of them that is man-made. Like they're not fully, I don't know, for lack of a better term, out of this world. I don't know.
And what about you, Ariel?
That's how I would describe it also, is what we think of as a tall tale. You start with the small piece and then a little bit gets added on.
Bingo. Okay. So, and this is okay. I'm just gonna channel it because I'll talk about what I know here in a minute, but let's just see what they're saying. The breath that they first take is emboldened by our belief of them. So there would have been a time. There would have been like, it's almost like the realm that they're coming from is really part its own place and part charged by our ideas. They're kind of showing me the end of Inception, where everybody who ever built anywhere, the evidence of what they built is all like there but decayed because no one's paying attention to it anymore. But it's kind of like, imagine that you're in a dark forest, right? And you come across a spider. But maybe that energy that you saw originally was just like a dark plasmoid. It was just an entity of darkness. Just like we have those little shining lights of light energy, we have that as well in the negative. But then because of the human belief, so that person runs back to its village and says, "Oh my God, I saw a giant spider." Our belief now emboldens that energy's ability to take a form here. And so then we start to have all of these. Is that a spider with the human body? Is that because now it's been emboldened? And the other thing they were saying is when this isn't their dimension, not fully, not really. And so we have to reach our hand across and through, either energetically with that we want to go see them, like all the cryptid hunters, or that our frequency is very similar to theirs, or that we just accidentally sit very close to the veil. So they're able to almost piggyback off of our energy to come through stronger. And the currency is Melissa's correct. It's fear. So if they can, how a ghost they can first knock on something, and then all the family is looking, and then suddenly that entity now has the ability to slam a door. But at first, all they could do is knock. Well, that's just because where attention goes, energy flows. So if they can get you started to be afraid, now we've got some juices. Now I've got some fuel. And if I get it enough, I'm going to be able to come through. Or the other thing they're saying is, if you just happen to be in an unfortunate situation where they've saved up quite a bit of energy, like a true hunter, a true hunting energy, they're the den-like animals. They're the ones that have generated enough soul energy to remain in this realm, but they draw people to them. They can't really go hunt. So that's another difference that sits in that cryptid space. Now let's talk about locations. I'll start first. The Appalachian is rife with rips and tears in the veil. like, and a lot of that has to do with the trees. I don't know why. Can someone's guides tell me why? I just heard trees can take sides just like humans can. Melissa?
This is it's weird. Okay, so
That's what we're after, man. Let's get the channel is often worse than like weirder than what we'd even think of.
okay, so what he's trying to show me is very far back in the Earth's existence. Still had, forest trees, all this, but there were some impacts to the Earth that kind of created a physical chasm. And I think that what you're saying, where the trees took sides, I think that that was part of it. So there was
Mm.
something that landed on Earth and it created a fault, so to speak. And that is where the sides were taken.
Yeah, is it that oil, that oily issue that we kind of had impacted?
Yeah, he's just conveying it was dark.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
What about you, Danica? What do you feel around locations?
With the trees, I
No,
feel
with
like,
the cryptid. Or well, yeah, actually, whatever you're channeling.
well, I was just told that they hold the wisdom, like they hold everything because they're so old.
And there's something about their knowledge of the ley lines. They can activate them and deactivate them.
Hmm.
What do you feel, Ariel? Locations.
Would that go into how people are warned by trees? That they say that nature warns them to go back, to turn around at this point. Please do not proceed forward. And I believe those are going to be some of the younger trees. And whenever
Wow.
we had first mentioned about the trees, I almost imagined the inverted, the tree of death,
Mm-hmm.
and the tree of death. So you have some that are just forever scorned,
Mm.
and but you do have the ones. So I've imagined the middle; those are going to be your most impacted. That's going to be where it's the most dense, and then the farther out that it goes, it's more likely to be persuaded.
So then what would be said about more like the desert lands? There used to be, right, the rumors of jinn fire spirits are found in the desert. So would that is there any crossover between that and cryptids, or is that sort of its own classification? Danica, what do you feel?
I feel it's different, its own classification.
Ariel, you agree?
Mhm.
Melissa?
I'm not getting anything on that one.
And so are we kind of arguing that cryptids have a tendency to prefer treed areas?
Trees, caves, anywhere where it's easier to be out of sight or to retreat.
Yeah, it feels like darker places, like more shadowy places is what it feels like.
Okay. And so is why would the shadow be so important?
I'm getting the shadow is the equivalent of their shield. As long as they can remain undetected, they can do their work. And if they can control who sees them, all the better.
And do we kind of agree to that collectively?
That's what the image that popped into my head was like a cloak and taking off into the mist.
I heard something very about that diffused light is very controllable. It's almost like the rays are already diffused, so they're easier to manage and you can slip through them. Because they were saying shadow walkers. So there are certain humans who have that ability, that have that knowledge and can walk through shadows. They almost walk in the liminal spaces between our realities. They're actually taught that in almost assassin based training. Like this is a very ancient thing. But but I want to sort of touch on, have they been abused by us as well, our government or whatever let's kind of go into we talk about them like they're the creepy monsters, but is there a version where we've wronged them? Ariel?
That the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away is how I feel. But I mean, like not Lord, but it's a give and take.
Danica?
I feel like, yes.
And in what ways do you think?
I'm hearing the word dissecting.
Mm-hmm. Weaponization, hybridization. Melissa?
Yeah, definitely. Like this the vision of them being conjured, so to speak, and harnessed and dissected and just used for covert purposes.
Do you believe that there should let me rephrase that. Would there have been a way or a time somewhere in our long past where we were intended to or could have cohabitated? Or is that just completely not of our space?
I get the feeling that when humanity began, that there was this understanding of they were there. You don't, if you leave them alone, they're going to have their space. And as we encroached upon each other, that's when it was almost as if you have like this feeding frenzy. Like this is like, okay, you are no longer an equal. Your space is here in mine. It became okay, we're going to exploit you, and then the tables turned, and humanity is now exploiting them.
I would agree with that. And yeah. Well, I guess that takes us to something that is a very different thing. This is not at all what I would consider a cryptid, but a skinwalker. So, Danica, I'm going to let you talk on that first because I feel like you probably know the least about it.
You're downright about that.
I can feel it. So, which makes you the one of the a pure aspect to it because you can't really make it. You don't know what it is.
I keep seeing the image of like a Native American,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like their spirit is still around. That's what I'm getting the image of. I don't know if that's right. I don't know.
That's okay. Ariel, what do you feel?
It almost feels vampiric to have their essence removed. They still stay here. Their body still stays here.
And Melissa?
I really don't know much about them, but I used to think of them as more of a negative, like a dark force, and what I'm being told is it's not necessarily a dark entity. It is an entity with an intent and purpose that can collide and be confrontational with humanity.
That's very accurate. It is a choice. It is a service. I almost want to cry. It's like it is the ultimate sacrifice for what you believe. It's a protection. It's often supported. The process and the ritual is often supported by ancestral energy. So there's kind of that phrasing. They're saying like, you know how you're usually like they always say you're picked as a shaman. You're picked as a skinwalker as well. Sometimes they would do it to themselves as a response to exile. So they would say, well, if I'm going to be exiled and die anyway, I'll be of service to the tribe in my death. It is a blood ritual. They're showing me it's a blood ritual. It's also old magic, and it's a deal not really with the devil like what you would think. It's a deal with other collective consciousnesses. It's like they let you borrow their form. So it has to be agreed upon. They're showing me that it's a respectful ritual. I don't know what I'm seeing.
It
I'm
feels
hearing
like
communion,
ancestral. Yeah,
Wait, what?
like communion, ancestral, like it is
ancestral.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
collective of that group that allows it to happen, that supports it, and it's continued, and yeah, it's interactive amongst that group.
It's bound to the lands, so it has clear perimeters. Like it doesn't go where it's not meant to go. It doesn't have interest. It doesn't have a driver. It's like a guard dog. It's going to watch its perimeter and it's not going to bother you otherwise. It also has a lot of its terrible, they're saying its terrible form is so much of a warning because it has no interest. It's not bloodthirsty. Okay. It has been given the knowledge and the ability to dismantle energy, which is not given to everybody. in fact, normally to be able to dismantle and like a demonic, let's just call it what it, like a demonic energy, you have to be older than it, or there's certain rule, or you have to know the old ways, is what I just heard, and they know the old ways.
Yeah, and I'm getting that it is a very narrowly defined practice of what you can and cannot. You can't go rogue. Like there's this very narrow parameter of what you are allowed to do, what your job is to do, and there's there's no deviation from that. Like it is a precise thing that they're doing.
It's a title, and it's maintained. You said vampiric. It is maintained by the living and the dead spirit.
I'm hearing it's almost like an honor.
I feel that too. I wanted to when I touched the energy's consciousness, I want to cry because it's almost just like the ultimate selfless thing you could do, because you are damning yourself in some sense, and you're still doing it. Real quick, I'll tell the story because I've told this on the other podcast, but you might find this interesting. Okay, so real quick, my mentor Terry, she was raised by serial killers. Her dad had killed a lot of people on the land. I went up there with Terry because I can't remember why. We were visiting her sister who we thought was passing. And at the time that we were up there, for some reason, her family home had become active again and hadn't been active in years. So we were all sitting there like, this is very interesting. How interesting the timing. But what I understand about demonic energies is it's kind of like the mafia. It's kind of like you owe something to your bosses and they come and collect. And her father had failed something. And so he was basically running scared, and he knew that there were souls that were bound to the land because they had been murdered there in a very violent or ritualized way. And he had promised those spirits almost in debt to what he had failed at. So we felt that this is what was happening. And we knew that he was lurking around, but it wasn't really a big thing because, again, we're humans. We're trying to make lunch and life is good, but we know something weird is going on. The second day that we were there, I was in the living room, and her nephew is highly, highly gifted, just like she is. And he suddenly swings around in the kitchen and starts looking outside, and he closes his eyes. In the pocket universe that sits on the land, the way that you commune with it is through the hemlocks, either the hemlock bushes or the hemlock trees. So I know intuitively, I'm like, why is he talking to the hemlocks? Then I see fucking Terry shoot all the way around and go to the back window, and she is just staring into nothing. The whole family and the little baby and her husband, they're in the kitchen or in the living room. They're not noticing anything, and I'm just noticing them basically go like dogs on point. And I can't feel anything, so I'm feeling like I'm not gifted at all, and I don't know what the fuck's happening. All of a sudden, it starts raining torrentially. And Terry, all she said, and I can feel something is active, like something is going on. And it felt very much like an operation was going on. And out of nowhere, Terry says, how funny that it's raining. And I'm like, why is it funny that it's raining? I'm about to kill myself. Like, why is it funny? And then basically this goes on for about 20 minutes. And then I hear a yell that was not high pitched, but it was just like a male voice's yell of like, not even agony, just like, ah. But it burned down my right ear and it burned down my neck. And nobody else heard it except for Terry and Derek. Long story short, what had happened is the demonic energy that had been tethered to her father had taken a Native American boy. And not only is this land fucking protected, like really protected, but also the audacity of that was a lot. And then there's also there was a blonde female who had been murdered by her father who used to just be in the woods. Once she had found out, this energy had found out that the boy had been taken, she basically ran to the collective, to that pocket energy, but that collective of Native American energy, and basically had gone to them kind of frantic. What Derek was picking up on was he had heard war drums begin, which was bizarre because he also lives on that land, and there's a very clear deal of what bloodline is allowed to be there. His bloodline is allowed to be there, and certain rules are in place. And then Terry said that she has never seen a presence of skinwalkers erect themselves around the property. And she said they each, basically in the astral plane, they each walked right up to her and then walked by almost like, we see you, and we need you to leave us alone. You have no business here. He has no business here. We've got this. And they essentially hunted that energy. So when they hunted it, what I saw was I saw basically blood raining down. It was just like it's like something had been pulverized and the blood was raining down. What Terry had seen was it was almost like this energy had been impaled on a tree. But right at the point of the destruction, both her and Derek had been able to watch the hunt. They had seen this energy go over this ridge that they both knew of. They knew that this was being hunted in almost a physical way. But right at the last moment, their entire vision was blocked because they were not allowed to know the magic that they used to tear apart this energy. Little did they know, both Terry and Derek already fucking know how to do that, but that's neither here nor there. And so that's the only experience. And also, she was saying that Derek had said there were almost 200. He said if he had to put a number on it, it would have been almost 200. And I said, how could that be possible? Because the collective that died there, because they'd had their water poisoned, so they all passed. It didn't feel like it was a group more than 35. Like it was a small group that died, and they just died all together. And that's when Derek said the war drums that he had heard was basically the summoning of not just their bloodline skinwalkers. So it was almost an affront to this collective consciousness. And then the things that came forward was anybody who had ever been one, almost. And then around the skinwalkers were also almost like the spirit, like just the living spirits, like ghosts. And there were ghosts that had surrounded the property as well, because they had taken one of theirs. Like that, I guess that is just the ultimate thing you cannot do. Because I asked Terry, I said, would they have responded like that if they had just taken the blonde girl? And she said, I don't think so. She says basically she feels that they would have probably secured the perimeter, concealed their energy, and then sort of tried to root it out in a more calm way, in like a less intense way. But that had just really rung the bell. I'm curious, do you guys intuit anything about that event that you'd like to share, especially given time and space isn't real?
So I'm getting that like as you were telling that story of how the numbers began, and they're doing this for me again, the numbers began, it was as if there was a movie that I watched, I remember it had Nicolas Cage in it, who was an angel who came down to heaven, and there was a scene where he walked into a library and all of the angels in there just turned and stared at him. And that's what happened. And so anything that could have seen this lended its force to it. And even if they weren't of that tribal, for lack of a better term, tribal agreement, they helped in an accessory way. So it was a all hands on deck. It was not that they were bound to do it, they chose to do it. So those others that saw it. But it was definitely that the egregiousness of that, the fact that it was so brazen and so bold, and the fact that it involved a child, it was just it got a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel, Ariel?
Whenever you mentioned that Terry and her nephew weren't allowed to see what happened, I heard that's the rules of the game. So even though they know, it's like you still have to look away for your own protection.
What about you, Danica?
I keep getting the feeling of being told that the collective is so much stronger when we're together. And
Mhm.
it was purposeful in that.
Now, I just want to make the three of you aware, because there's a reason that you've been invited. I think I've shared what that is privately, but y'all do all understand that we four have that in us, the abilities, because of the age of our soul. So I want you to walk very confidently and without fear in a lot of ways, because we bear the same abilities because of the reasons that we know, right? So that's kind of cool, because, it really is, it's not nothing. And the other thing is this is another part to that chapter, much, much later. Derek has a son. His name's Connor, and he's a beautiful, almost angelic energy. And he's there to sort of, again, continue to aid a bloodline that has endured severe evil. But because his shine is so bright, he had attracted, and Derek had caught, a skinwalker peering into his window. Now, what do you think happened to that skinwalker? I'd make an argument, well, I know for a fact that he's no longer with us.
I was gonna say it was his energy was dissolved.
Yes. And Derek did it. The problem is, Derek got seen doing it. So now he has a new deadlock on his land, and I want you guys to intuit why. Ariel, I'll start with you.
It's that seen, not heard, or you can see, I can see you, but we're not interfering. And for Derek being a father, it was almost protective of him to do that and bearing the consequences.
And what are the consequences?
It free play sounds wrong, but it's like open season, tit for tat.
And what about you, Melissa? What do you sense?
Yeah, it was. I get the community rules. I guess you can say it is like an eye for an eye. So you, as the father of this young child, what I'm getting is that you should have let us dealt with it in terms of like the community. You should have let us do that. It wasn't your place to do that. That was up to us, and you overstepped your boundaries, and now you've incited a war.
And what do you feel, Danica?
I feel he's got a target on him for sure.
And now I'm going to deliver kind of the most interesting component here. They won't pull the trigger yet because they are wanting him to sign a contract with them to be a protective element to them because they did not know what he was. So his protection is in the fact that he could go ransack the entire subdivision. I almost want to say, like, he could go take that pocket universe and destroy it. So yeah, they would like to, well, maybe he may not be able to do that independently, but they did not understand the nature of his soul. And now I want to see, can anyone intuit the nature of his soul? Why that's so important, why that's so unique.
It's the flip side of the coin. If there has been so much evil done on on the line, and it's the stopping point. He was the stopping point where he did have the option to go into that darkness, but he made the choice not to. And that's why his son, it was a gift.
Yes, and let's see, Melissa, what do you feel?
So in this scenario, I feel like what they are, the Skinwalker community is afraid of is that they know he represents complete annihilation, and we're talking like ancestral annihilation. And so they are, yeah, they want his protection, but they also know they there's no teeth behind it. They got nothing. That all they can do is ask, you know. And so I don't think that in this scenario there's going to be any backlash because they know what they're dealing with. I mean, it's just,
And
what
what
else
is
can they
it
do?
that they're dealing with? Danica, can you tell? I'm looking for a
There's,
specific thing.
yeah, there's something about him that is, uh, I don't know the word to use. I'm gonna say like not of this world. There's something about him that's different. He has something, a gift or a part of him, like something of him is different. I don't know what to call it though.
He has self-proclaimed that he feels that he was one of the fallen, that he made a choice long time ago that obviously he deeply regrets, but that he feels that he is not, he is, the phrase I just heard is, he is of those that cannot rest. So, and we do recognize that there are people who bear certain bloodline traits that you would consider DNA originated with the Nephilim. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I think it's evidence that there is no sin that's so great that redemption is always on the table, and there are things that you would think would be, you know, kind of this unforgivable classification, and I don't feel that to be true, not necessarily. Um So, I don't know if he would be considered one of the fallen. I know that his bloodline is insanely gifted. Obviously, we know Terry. And we know that Terry also has the knowledge to dispel energy in that same way. So, and when I made that joke at her, she did not say anything. She was just like, I was literally like, well, and we know that you can do it. And she just smiled and kept cooking. I was like, are you not going to at least tell me if I'm right? That's how it goes, though. But anywho, I feel like that's a good grasp on Skinwalkers, especially because it's, people want to say crazy stuff. And I love that we're just keeping it as real. Like, it's not crazy. It's very honorable in a weird way. All right, let's talk about Epstein and combine that sort of with the darkness in the eyes, is what they're kind of phrasing it as. So let's start with a big question. Do we feel like Epstein's dead?
Physically or spiritually or what?
let's say whatever the guides say. Shit, I don't know. And Danica, I'll let you go as our very highly gifted medium. Do you feel that he's on the other side?
I do, but I feel like he is stuck. That's what I feel.
Can we bring him close, and will he say anything with us?
My guide is saying no. He's being sequestered. Like there is some intensive work going on with him.
Well, I actually do understand what you're picking up on. First of all, the feeling of feeling him, but the second feeling of him being set aside.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll go into that in a minute. Ariel, what do you feel?
I feel a transference. So, but almost like Voldemort with his Horcruxes.
Mm-hmm.
So while he is not here, he is here in some ways.
And Melissa, now go, because I know you're getting a lot of information. I want to hear what you have to say.
So yeah, there is some intent on him while he was alive to strategically implant himself. I know that sounds really bad. It's not like the Horcrux. He has put himself in ways to be almost as if be that watchdog, so nobody's letting these secrets out. So his soul is no longer able to do that, but those pieces of him that are still out there are still controlling the show. And there are still people afraid of him, knowing that even that little bit has some control over them. And it is not about the others that participated. It is not even about their reputation. I think that there is some other pact or something going on, that it is like a soul level. I will, if this gets out, I will not exist. Like I'm done. Like it's that heavy. And that's why there's such a big cover up.
And let's zoom in on that. Let's figure out, why would a soul be afraid of another soul? Ariel?
There's some sort of hierarchy involved. And I don't believe it's at the top, but he would have a lot of power, a lot of control over the lower levels. And like any hierarchical thing, any food chain, the ones at the bottom are afraid of the ones at the top.
What do you feel, Danica?
I don't know. It just all feels dark and evil. Like, I don't know the word.
I see just like tendrils, like they're spreading and they're just sinking into people and they're sinking into society. It was almost as if this was part of a larger
I heard contamination scheme.
yes.
See, this is why I love getting together, because it's literally almost telepathic. It's like we can get there. What I'm sensing, first of all, is I'm sensing cloned energy. So we have people bearing the DNA of this man. Well, this man bearing multiple DNA versions of him. I feel that there would have been an original Jeffrey Epstein, but I feel he was taken over so long ago. I mean, like, so long ago. Like, I don't even really, I wouldn't even consider the person that we call that for the last 15 years as anything that would have been the original version. Because the original soul was it was a petrified, small dick little boy who just needed crazy amounts of power. That's what I feel like. He did not really, and he was very, very intelligent. So
So, and
all
I'm getting that whenever he came into this life, it was a bypassing of a normal process where we
yes,
go, we recover, we heal. And sometimes as you have a very traumatic life, it's like you get shunted into another one. There was not a chance for him to recover. And so he perpetuated on others what he desired the most, which was the control and the power and the money, um, and then became a target for darker and more stronger energies to latch onto, and it sort of became the perfect storm, the perfect opportunity to spread that throughout.
well, and also the nature of the abuse of a soul like that is a soul in its original fullness. It could never cohabitate with a dark entity, right? So what they do, and I mean, this is a horrible thing, but this is a thing. What they'll do is they will take, like, it's say that you get, I mean, I hate to say you get ritually murdered, right? They're going to have this vessel or this expectation that they're going to capture your soul so that it cannot return to a place of healing. And then that can remain in the stasis until they're ready to use you again. But now you're depleted. So they're going to put you into another lifetime where you're depleted more, capture you again, until the point where you're now at a frequency that you can, to some degree, cohabitate with a higher up dark entity. They pair
Yes.
you then together in the womb so that your spirit grows in concurrence. So he really would have only had, they're saying 27. They're saying the Saturn's return. They're saying he would have been himself to a degree that you could call himself until then. And then it was like that was done. Now your life is ours. Now that you're here for your creation. You're in service to your use.
He was groomed
I mean,
in
but
that
groomed
regard.
through lifetimes,
Right.
which is just,
Yes.
I didn't even know you could do that. Like as I was saying that, I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? Um so then the question becomes, well, let's just stay on this for a second. Do we believe that in our near future there's going to be any value for the list to get out, or is this all just a play on our minds, Ariel?
I feel like it's been a long time coming. It's been what people have been wanting for years and years and years. And going to what was discussed previously, it's going to be the lid that comes off for everything else.
So you do feel it's going to have value?
The idea as a whole, but not exactly the contents of what's within the files, because
Gotcha.
I believe that what is useful in there has already been redacted. It's already been taken out. So what we're going to get is just the skin and bones.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel, Danica?
I feel like it's been altered. I feel like it's not the truth when it comes out.
What do you feel, Melissa?
That the evilness of this, if it can be classified as a single entity, is just laughing, because it doesn't matter that what we do get to come out of this, what little bit we do get to see and be like, oh, that was terrible. It doesn't matter, because nothing is gonna happen. And that's like the biggest laugh that evil has about this.
Well, the funny thing I feel, and there's some energy in me that just became very offended at that, because it's almost like, and not at you, of course, but at the thought, because the hilarious component is this is going to spark, even though it's not the truth as it is supposed to be, the thematics that the collective is going to have to deal with. It's going to create a bipartisan of good and evil that is more strong than it is now, that it's more strict than it is now. There are going to continue to be details coming out about the human hunting. We're already seeing some of that. So we're worried about pedophilia being the worst thing, and they're looking at us like, no, the worst thing is that we're eating people and that we're killing people for sport, among other things. So while we may not get the names, or we may get names we already know, it is going to be whispered about at first, and then it's going to be talked about later, and then it's going to be litigated over. And so we may not get the head honcho, but we're going to get some asshole who just got left out to dry. But now the zeitgeist is going to have to bear witness to that this can even be done, that you can even pay for this to be done. And by the awareness of this, it is going to force the dark back into the dark. It is going to make it harder for the dark to do what it has gotten used to doing. So the last laugh does not belong to the dark. It's like it's the arrogance and the smugness that the dark always has, because they're always like, they cannot foresee forward in the way, because they cannot see love, right? So they can't factor in that our hearts are going to bleed for those that we see. I can feel it. It's everything's black and white to the dark. It's like, oh, we're going to get away with it or we're not going to get away with it. Well, yeah, you're going to get away with it. Like you've been, but not really, because it's going to force our consciousness to raise. I don't know how to say that. Let me see if they'll say that better, because I feel like I'm fucking it up. When the tendrils go out and the fog is the thickest, is when our beacons shine the brightest, and it's when our beacons can do their highest work. So it's almost like we can't even do the highest work until the darkness is in the collective, like it's trying to be.
Well, you think about it, that's when you see a light the most, is when it's the darkest. So that makes sense.
And for I just heard, and for those who don't have a direction, they now will. So all those people sitting there like, well, I just go to work. I don't care if kids are not, like, I just don't, they won't be able to say that anymore, because it's going to be too heinous. I like that. I mean, I'm trying to connect with some of the victims. I'm wondering how they feel about all this.
So as I was talking about evil and laughing, there was a dark energy basically just gloating. And I'd been channeling my guide, and he stepped out to go take care of that.
I love how it's like he stepped out. He'll be right back. One time Terry, she was on a walk, and she said she basically was spoken to by what she would call a dismantled or like a offline demon, and it was walking with her and it was trying to gloat, and it was basically saying, humanity will never win. And Terry, she said she wouldn't even look at it, but she said, why? Why do you say that?
Mm-hmm.
And the energy said, because humanity will never fully pick sides. And that's so much evidence of like the way that they think. Because
That's really exactly what this one was. And it wasn't like it
decommissioned is what I heard.
Yeah, so this one was like not in my face because he wouldn't be allowed to get that close, but it was very pointedly like showing me its face, and then it was gone. So
Well, this is not the circle you want to dance in. Not with all of us here. I promise you. I'm sorry. Bad move. Okay, so now what do our spirit guides say about deducing? Also, I want to go into something, by the way. I'm sorry, but I kept getting this feeling of like gloating from the victims, and some of them are saying the fact that they're part of the downfall is like kind of, they're like, this is a badge. There's kind of an indication of like we had an awareness that we were going to be part of the downfall of the dark. We just didn't, some of us didn't know how bad it would, like what that really looked like. But there's honor in that. On the other side, they're almost kind of being honored.
that is a really big confirmation. Like I'm being shown almost just like this, just an innumerable number of souls, completely glowing gold, that are like it's an army.
That's
Yeah.
they're like
So,
lined
yeah.
up. Yeah, I see
Yeah.
them like lined up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want there to also be, this is not to say don't care about the kids, obviously. Like the humanity that's being lost in this experience is insane. I also want there to be an understanding of, how they used to talk about in the Bible that the demonics could have legions, like of demons. What is never spoken about is the vastness of an oversoul could literally embody hundreds of children. and some of them do choose to do that. Because there is a version where even they're kind of saying even your children, talking about you as humanity, even your children can sometimes be protected because sometimes we take that role. So there's a lot of beauty in that too, because that's essentially a vastness of a soul that you couldn't even understand, choosing to descend into matter, descend into density, and then go through the most horrific experiences and be unscathed at its core because it's so vast. It's like if you don't think that there are players on this planet that are acting in that fashion, they are here. Like they're with us.
So this is Goblin, and she's telling me that the animal collectiveness participates in this.
Oh, thank you, Goblin. Yes. I love that. Okay. It's iniquity. It's like it's not going to be allowed. Okay, how do we tell when there's negative? What do we look for? How do we feel it? Obviously, the four of us, we see it like bright as the back of our hands. But if you weren't us, what is Spirit saying about the average Joe and sort of the things to look for, the things to feel for?
So going to feeling is that sense of something is not right. It is the hair standing up on the back of your neck. It's the I feel like I need to get out of here. It is even if you're not in the scenario, those emotions are your triggers to let you know that this is not what it's supposed to be. Like this is not a good thing that's going on here.
Danica?
It's almost like a sickness, like a nauseous feeling. And I notice it's like an emptiness in the eyes as well. Yeah.
Ariel?
And I would agree with what Melissa says also, and that it's almost a protection coming from our guides or coming from our higher self to say, hey, red flag or like red stoplight, and to just trust yourself, because there's so many times where we don't trust ourselves and we end up being right in that sense of it is what is dark. But to people that always want to try to see the light in people, or that always want to be the one to change people, you can't harness that. You can't make that your pedestal to try to be with somebody like that.
The other thing I'm feeling is in irrational attraction. Be mindful of that. If you suddenly find yourself obsessed with a place or obsessed with a person and it makes no sense to you, that is another basically telltale sign that there is energy at work on you. An example I would give is there was a person in our community who I met one time, and I found myself insanely physically attracted to him. And I thought about him incessantly for 3 days, pretty much nonstop. And was so embarrassed that I didn't tell my mentor about it until way, way later after it dissipated. And I told her, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I never told my husband, but I had that too." So there was just significant amounts of glamour magic on this individual. So unnatural attractions is another thing to look for sure. All right. Oh my God, that's been such a good conversation. Let's get into the more personal questions, and I'll start with Miss Ariel.
So for as long as I can remember, but only here recently started paying attention to, or maybe now that I have friends to ask, my
I love
daughter
it.
does this thing where she'll say a sentence, but then she'll continue to mouth words. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she said, I don't know. I said, well, what are you saying? And then for a long time, it was, I don't know. But then just here recently, she said, well, I'm just repeating what I said. But like my name is Sophia. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Interesting. Okay. What do we feel? Danica?
I feel like it's almost like she's saying it to herself to like hear the words to see if it's true to her.
That's exactly what I'm getting.
That
Like
Yeah.
it is her confirmation. Like she's saying it to herself, either for herself to hear it or just to like, does this make sense? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it
they're saying
also
it's
feels,
not going to go on forever. So
No?
don't worry.
Okay. I
and
was
it's a
thinking,
little bit of a identity crisis. It's her basically, she's kind of split herself a little bit in half. And so there's a part of her that she doesn't trust herself, or she's not sure how to trust herself. And so this is almost a nervous tick, like knocking on a door 3 times.
mm,
Yeah,
It's
like to build her confidence.
that makes sense. A few weeks ago, she had come to me and she had a whole argumentation about why she should be allowed to stay up. And going back into that moment, she didn't do that at all. She is very firm in her belief of this is why I deserve to stay up. And, she didn't do that mouthing thing afterwards at all. So it would make sense that recognizing that those are her moments of questioning, those are her moments of self-doubt where, like you said, Danica, she's saying it, but is this really what I'm feeling?
And they
yeah.
said it might progress to like her like standing in the mirror and talking to herself in the mirror. Still totally normal. It's fine.
And I don't feel that she's going to be bullied for it. I don't feel that there's going to be a negative social thing about it. I'm not even sure she does it around other people.
That's what I was wondering.
No.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
like she
she's not.
does. Yeah.
Mm,
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
that's kind of, it's kind of I like that then you're safe for her to do that. I
mm,
don't know. That seems, I just feel it's an anxiety tick.
okay.
Ms. Danica, what is your question?
I would like to know if anybody can feel into my divorce and how that is going to play out as far as financially and yeah.
And if there's any dishonesty in it.
Yes.
Ariel?
I heard like payday, make it rain. Just I feel like that dollar bills. Um, he's going to try to save face. He's going to make himself appear to be the good guy, not the reason why things went the way that they did, even though that's not true. And anybody else will be able to see it that way also. But it's going to be um turmoiled, but you'll come out victorious at the end. It's don't stand your ground. Don't
Yes.
worry, because it'll be his downfall in the end.
And do you feel any hidden assets or anything that's going to come out in the wash, so to speak?
Like the Cayman Islands.
Oh.
Um,
Oh. Mm. Okay, cool. Good to know. Melissa?
So I get the feeling that there is this effort to make it like to try to, I don't know how to say, to try to bleed you from like hemorrhage money on this thing. Like there's this intent for it to monetarily damage you. Like you have to keep going. I do feel like in the end that there is definitely recompense. So financially, I think it is worth pushing through this to keep going. I feel like in the end, yeah, that there's stuff that's going to come out. Um, but yeah, there's this coordinated with him and the lawyer movement to try to get you to spend as much money as you can.
Well, and the weird part is, I'll chime in real fast because I've known about her situation for a while. The weird part is he keeps saying to her, like, I will be very agreeable if you just settle this with me without lawyers. But I felt for so long that there's some hidden aspect, some hidden asset that he is trying to conceal. And I don't know how it's going to come out because she's filed for a financial audit. He did the same to her. And so far as we know, nothing's come out of it.
Yep. So far, nothing.
So do we have any lead on how that's going to come into the equation? Or does it ever? Does he get to keep that?
I don't know.
Oh no, I'm asking
Oh,
them.
I was like,
there's a scheme involved, so he's not the only one. I feel the
Is it him
woman
and his business partner?
there was a woman, there was a woman, but then like behind her there's a man also, and
Mm.
together they've come up with this plan. It's kept changing hands.
The money?
Hmm. And I almost feel like another identity.
Yeah, the second, yeah. Oh, what do you feel, Melissa?
Yeah, it's a well coordinated effort to make this untraceable, and I'm trying to find out how this is going to come out because it was very strong. Like this, he can't continue to keep hiding this. It's going to come out, but I don't know in what way that's going to happen.
I felt led to say to her the other day, so I did basically that. Oh my gosh, it would just kill me if I clip this up and you just send it to him. But anyways, just scare the ever bejesus out of him. But I keep feeling that if she tries to go into the business, which she was hesitant to, and I was like, no, I think that this is for some reason going into the business is how it all comes out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you go and say, no, I want half of all the assets, I wanted to solve the business, then it's almost
Yes.
that's how it comes out.
Yes. And that is the part that's going to be um
The expensive, what
the
he's going to try to
expensive
say is
part.
too expensive.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah.
too expensive.
And
He
that's
is,
why he's more agreeable to give you what you want, because it's not going to be anything compared to what he's got.
because my guide said to her the other day during her class, they said, whatever you do, you need to research how to dissolve a company that's built between you're married, because that is the pathway that you're going to take. And through that, you're going to discover all this BS. And I am so intrigued because, again, when you're close to another person, this does get dicey. And I have always felt that there was some, like, that ID card was weird. Like, there's always been a weirdness, but I did not, and I felt that there was a hidden account. I've told you that.
They're saying
But
you're going to have to hire a forensic account. If you haven't done that yet,
I did do
that
that.
okay. For the business.
we're gonna have to do it for the business. It's not just
Oh,
his account.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Because I think it's the business partner, and I think it's the business partner. It's probably the business partner's wife, like whoever they're changing the money with. It's close because he doesn't trust people easily. So he's really gotten himself in a bind. Now, is he going to face criminal charges for this? I don't think so either. He's just going to be out the money. What will the kids think about it all, or do they need to know?
Well, I think they're going to find out.
Yeah,
It's not a matter
there's
of
not a
whether
way
they
to keep it.
need to know. It
So
is going to
Mm-hmm.
be a more like they're just disappointed, you know. Um Not any like relationship deal breaker sort of a thing, but it's just like I really why, you know, that sort of a thing.
yeah. Well, do you think that there's any consequence of her showing at least part of this clip to him?
Freedom of speech. We're all just
Um
assuming here, or we're just
I am getting that it would be better
To
not
know.
to.
I agree.
It would be better to surprise him with the audit.
Yeah. I hate that that's true because I want to, but my guides were shaking their head. They were like,
Right.
"That's very human of you."
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to remote view the moment that he has to face this music because I want to see that. Okay, how do you feel, Danica? Do you have any questions otherwise?
yeah, I would like to know who the other man and the woman is because he doesn't have a business partner anymore.
Is it his mentor?
I could see that, but there's still, I don't know who the woman is because it
I'm
would,
getting that at least the main person in this scheme is the the business advisor, whoever it was that was helping him. Um, so that is the main thing, and
They said
I
birds of
feel
a
like
similar
the
feather.
whatever whoever else that person has is um
Oh, he does this for people. He does this for people. I just heard. This is what he offers. It's part of what he does.
right, yeah, like I am getting that this is not like a hush hush, like, oh yeah, I mean, it's not above board, but it is something that he does tell people to do. Like, don't worry about it, you're gonna get away with this is fine, you
And
know.
he is offering the framework. So I almost feel like if there's a pathway, he has it kind of set up because he's done this before. They're showing me.
The female, I think, is like an assistant for him. It's not like he's got a co-conspirator. It is almost like she's like the secretary or somebody who's handling the little details.
Almost like a paralegal.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Weird.
For the
Okay.
mentor.
right. Yes.
The mentor or the financial advisor?
Yeah, whoever that person is, but yeah.
Scandalous. Scandalous. Okay. Um, is there any advice on who, like, is oftentimes when I talk to people about selling homes or something, sometimes I get, hey, don't go with the first one you see, go with the second. When we need to gather her financial auditor, can she use the same one that she used before, or does she need to use a different forensic analyst?
I think she needs to get a good referral for a detailed business financial analysis, because I'm getting the, and I don't, honestly, I've never even had one. I don't talk to him, but I feel like that there is somebody out there who specializes in this type of thing, and that's what you should look for.
And I really feel either Fidelity would know somebody, or even just police. I mean, like somebody who is kind of this is what they do. It's like, but they do it for courts. Am I feeling that correctly?
I mean, yeah, anybody can be an expert witness, but that's the type of person that you're looking for. So I'm trying to think of how get information on how to go through that search process.
I do feel it's male.
Yeah, I agree. I don't get the feeling that going to the police department is going to help, because they are not in the business of wanting to give referrals.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
I'm
I think
feeling like either this individual served in the police, like there's a back, or his energy is feeling almost like he's in this for the love of the game. There's a righteousness in him that is.
I was getting the feeling of like, I figured out a way to do this legally, and I've got a big ego because I'm that smart.
Oh,
I
interesting.
figured out how to do this, and I can tell other people, and I don't have to feel like I'm going to get in trouble.
Like a white hat hacker.
Right? Yes,
Okay.
but the fact that it's happening and that getting uncovered is what the ex is worried about. So
Oh, I
even
love
though
it.
there's this quasi legality to it, it's not acceptable. That could hurt his
Oh,
reputation. He's going to lose a lot of money. That's the biggest factor,
he's
is
gonna lose
losing
the
money,
company.
losing the company.
You're
So
done.
that loses status, lifestyle. It's ever like for him, it is absolutely devastating. Like it is like his entire house of cards.
Well, and
So
there's the courts are gonna fucking hate that.
right.
That's
So
why you're gonna get okay. You're fine. It's looking good, Danica.
Okay, I just need to figure out how to find somebody to help me.
yeah.
That'll be the
Um
easiest aspect, I feel. Your hardest part, I feel the bigger thing you're gonna be fighting is just this kind of like spiritual mental onslaught. Because the closer that you get, the more you make these decisions, the more you're gonna be painted as this ultimate villain, because as the house goes down, it's gonna be he's like clawing to save something. And then it goes from clawing to save something to like burn it all. I don't know how to say that. It's
yeah.
oh wow, what a shame. Also, what a not shame for you. I mean, like I knew he wasn't gonna get away with it, but when you said the audit came back clean, I was really confused. But no, I guess don't be disheartened. It's just another pathway.
Well, as far as I know, they just went through like the personal stuff. I don't know if they went through the business account. I gave them everything that I had, but
No,
They're
this is
telling me even if they did look at the business stuff, they were not skilled enough to find this. So still need to find somebody who specializes in this.
so if they mediate soon, I would go I mean, I would say I need another look. I'm not ready to
Yes.
mediate.
so
Yeah.
do I find somebody else to look because mediation is December 1st?
Yeah, you get somebody else to look. Or you push back mediation. It doesn't
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like stall the
yeah,
mediation until you can find somebody to do this work.
because you don't have to do anything, and this is I don't really see that there's a way that you're going to allow like it's already in the bank, if that makes sense. Like I don't feel the only way that you could basically jump what we're seeing is by just signing the dotted line on December 1st. But I don't believe you're going to do that.
But there is that warning of this can be costly, but if you wanted to look at it as an investment, it is a good investment to make. So you can save yourself some mental anguish and just be like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Because there is a bit of uncomfortableness that's going to go with this route. But there is something going on. There is some money being hidden from you.
And it's not
So
nothing.
yeah, so that is what you're like. That's how you can like gauge which way do I want to go with this, is just understanding that there's a lot of stress that's going to come with this. There's the upfront money that's going to go with this. And so you just need to decide which way that you want to go with it.
Well, and they've already spent basically around 25K. I don't believe it's going to be equal that. I don't believe you're going to go further
No,
in. I
no.
just think overall you're already looking at it like it's a lot, but I don't believe it's going to be significant amounts more than what it already is. It's just you're going to be told, why are we burning this money? Look at you. Why are you burning this money? Da da da. And that's not a real argument.
And I'm getting that it is the emotional aspect, because that's what he's going to do. He's going to start attacking you with those kinds of things. So it's going to be a bit of an onslaught of dealing with that
But he's
before
already
you get,
been onslaughting to you. Like
well,
he's
and
not
yeah, it's just like just get yourself mentally prepared for dealing with more intensity of that.
Okay. Yep. That's the
If I'm not
usual.
if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be a younger person. It's going to be somebody that you wouldn't normally look at and say, "I trust you." But
Oh, for the accountant?
yeah, that's how I feel. It's going to be a younger person. But just give them all of your faith, and it's almost an imbuement to them.
Mm. And that's the other thing too is, we have the ability to spiritually set the heat-seeking missile. That's what we've been doing this whole time. Because we've now sought out all of the math, and that consciousness, that awareness can be given to her and through her access through whoever she hires. So we've done, I mean, like, let's be real, we've done a lot of spiritual legwork as we speak. There's value to that. My guides are saying this is the heat-seeking missile.
Thank you.
Well, of course. Like, this is what I love. I love.
It's almost like they're literally lighting up the path, like
Yes.
just through us talking about it and sussing it out. It's like that almost like all you have to do is walk on that golden path is what they're telling
Yes.
me.
You're going to be perfectly fine.
Thank you.
Okay, I feel so good about that. I was worried about that. I was kind of like, why haven't they found it? What's going on? Okay. And I was starting to doubt me. I was like, maybe there is nothing. Okay. I feel a lot better.
Thank you.
Miss Melissa.
All right, so I have a neighbor who is going through a divorce, which they're nasty. All of them are nasty. There's few times that it's not, but there's a custody issue, and so one party is lying, playing nasty, not following orders, that sort of
This is the
thing.
female.
hmm
Yeah.
And so there have been accusations placed against the husband, and so it is a situation where the husband, who's the neighbor, really all he wants is just to have custody.
Full custody.
Preferably, but even if it is like primary custodian, that's the goal. Um, and that's it. There's nothing else that matters to him. So I'm just curious to see what would come out of that.
I don't feel that the accusations are overly potent. I don't know how to say that, but like I know that they are significant, but I don't. For some reason, I feel that they will be diffused. Like the truth something will come out to where it's very scary and shocking, but it doesn't make it it's like it doesn't make it all the way. It runs
Doesn't
out of
hold water.
steam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like there's no depth to it.
So I almost feel like he's in the state of like not really shock, except he's still functioning through it, but he's almost like kind of reeling and he doesn't need to. But I don't know. I'm trying to feel out. Ariel, what do you feel about the full custody thing?
I don't see it right away.
I don't
It's
either. I just
it
wanted to confirm.
it's not right away. It will eventually, and it's going to be a few years, like several maybe, but
But it will be by
it
their
will be.
choice, correct?
Hmm.
The kids
It's
themselves.
yeah,
I feel that the best he gets is just, I mean, I honestly feel he gets 50-50. Is that what y'all are feeling?
Phil, I'm hearing like he needs to have like a, I don't even know what you call it, like a mental awareness or mental test done on her.
On her, yeah.
That's what I'm being told. Like have that done on her.
Okay.
Okay.
but it's not being played in his favor because normally it's the kids that go with the mom. For
Right.
him, and I think, whenever before it was the mom that was trying to get, however it was said, it was a male energy that I got, but it makes sense because if she's trying to be the domineering one and he's leaning more into the feminine for the children's sake. It's almost like a Red Rover for the
Mm.
kids.
He's being, what's the
What
word?
it's whenever they come back to him, they're embraced and they feel the warmth of his love and his desire for stability for them. But, with Red Rover, you get sent back over and he's cleaning up the claw marks that she's leaving in their backs. Is how I feel.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's very painful for them because that's
Is there a
for a lot
way,
of kids that's the mom, but
is there a way that we can protect them through this? You play on the mental health component because that can separate their emotions from what's going on.
and not trying to demoralize the mother either, because you're not going to win anything by breaking the other parent down. They need to see that for themselves. They need to be in a place where they can make that decision for themselves. And are these younger kids? Middle-ish?
4 years old. Just one.
Oh, it's almost like they feel older because they're subjected to what they shouldn't be.
There is a stepchild who is older,
Mhm.
middle school aged, but not the neighbor's child.
Yeah. I felt like there was two.
I did
Mhm.
too.
But he
But
Well,
loves her all the same.
well, and actually, honestly, there you could feel too because the neighbor has a son from a previous marriage who is like just got into high school kind of age.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good like 10-year difference between his oldest son and his youngest son.
well, I'm feeling the turmoil more with the younger two, just as far as this confusing feeling, and we understand it. But I'm trying to figure out, from the path for him, step out of fear. Fear is driving a lot of this energy for him. Understand that what is gonna play out, you cannot own what you didn't do. So stop putting on your plate more than what's on your plate and get real with yourself. You can't control what she's up to. You can't be agonized by this entity that you kind of have to consult. They're showing me like, put your blinders on. Don't try to destroy, but try to get the correct. But stop. I don't see a win by diving for full custody. I don't see it being good for anybody. I don't see it working. So it's almost like in pursuing that, you're going to burn her house down to try and prove that she's unwell, unfit. And you're still not, I still don't think that you wind up with what you want. So if there was a way to temper that decision and to maybe go stop, if there's a way that they can go for 50, like something that gets them both in a position to parent again,
Mm-hmm.
that they're almost saying that's what you want to run towards as fast as you can, because there will come a time where he's a lot happier and this is all behind him, and the less trash he makes in this process, the less he has to clean up.
So, and that's so there's a scenario for, and I don't know what the laws are in Washington, but so when they have a house that they lived in as a married couple, and the ex has 401k, that sort of thing. So the neighbor's like, I don't care about any of that. I just want my son, to the point where he's not even using it as a bargaining chip. So I've told him to at least consider that. Um,
They said, don't be foolish. They said, there's no honor in there. You're not, he's giving up. He's thinking that this is going to bring about what he's looking for, and
mhm.
it's not. So now
Right.
you're just leaving chips on the table.
Right. Yeah. And that's how I feel. So I don't know if, um,
But I feel he's very stubborn in this.
yeah.
And the
Yeah.
stubbornness isn't going to serve him.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
making it
Because
harder for him.
he just, in what he's talked about, it makes it feel like, and I'm thinking like in his mind, he just wants the easiest reconciliation of this. He just wants more time with his kid. That's it. But not using strategy, or yeah, just not playing the game of chess.
And the other component that he's not thinking about is if she is ruled to be unfit, she can vie for it again in 1 year or 2 years. Like, you aren't winning what you think you're winning. So I think he needs to be brought into a little bit more awareness about what he's actually going for, how unrealistic that might be for him, and to really get himself into um, the correct position, which is, the fear. They keep saying the fear is making him make bad decisions.
Well,
You're
he
not.
I
told me
think
about the going through this scenario with his oldest son when they divorced. um he's literally traumatized from that, and so I do kind of feel like he's manifesting that same experience. And so he said he just, they just got to meet with the judge, and the lawyer just did not do the things that were agreed upon, like his, the giving on the things that he was not supposed to give on, like the whole goal was this and he didn't do that. So yeah, I mean, I can see how that's frustrating for him. And I don't have any idea what to tell him. I mean, in terms of like advice, except for like use all those bargaining chips to get what you want.
If he uses all the bargaining chips, do we feel that it works out for him?
I feel what I heard was the time lost now is it's like incomparable to the time that he'll have in the future.
I
So
feel that too. I
mhm.
almost said something similar. I was like, this is
It's
a
that
this is
telepathicness.
you're just she's afraid, and it's like, I'm sorry, they're not even fun right now.
Yeah.
Like, I always want to say that, like, but I so yeah, I agree with that entirely. Awesome.
All right.
I have a question about this condo. My boyfriend's trying to sell it. Do we feel like that's going to happen sooner rather than later, or is it going to drag out? I have a preference that it drags out, but that's just me because I like it. But he's obviously he's hemorrhaging money, so he'd like it to be gone.
I think it's going to go soon. I mean, it's terrible to put time limits on things when you're doing readings,
Yep, I know.
but I'm like thinking like 6 weeks.
I
Dang.
heard 6 months.
So we
So
got the 6.
yeah, the sixes are there for sure.
All right, Eric,
Or
you're the tie break.
or maybe 7, 6, 7. No,
6,
just kidding.
7.
Gosh.
I feel so. I told him, I said I feel like I kept feeling around 4 months, so it makes sense that it would extend out. But I'm happy with that because I'm not really in a hurry to move to Crowley yet. But I'll be closer to you, and like that'll make me happy. But I'm right now. It's almost like my path is allowing me to kind of wean myself off of living directly in the city, kind of like how I've liked. So I'm not mad that it's 6. I'm just not mad. I'm sorry.
But why Crowley? I
Huh?
almost had a knee-jerk reaction to that. Why Crowley?
He has a home out there, and he bought it. I don't, just he was able to. He got excited, and so he wants to have it for about 5 years and then to sell it. So who knows at that point what we'll do, but yeah, I'm happy to. I mean, like, I'm selfish. I like my way. Um, all right. Well, I'll show him this, and he'll be like, I don't believe in this.
He's not gonna
Always.
care.
I know he doesn't. He's gonna be like, okay, sure. Um, guys, I have had so much fun. This is just like it's almost like getting to sit with my siblings. It's like I have siblings where we can just be like, what do you think about Skinwalkers? Except it's more than that because this goes way back. I would argue that this goes way back. And even in this room, it just is like, why is this so easy? So I'm so grateful to you guys, and I think we have a cool thing going.
Yep.
So next week, if we're able, let's pick out topics from the zeitgeist. And if we change them, we change them. That's the rule. But just to give the crowd a little bit of a sneak preview. Anything jumping out?
I almost feel pulled to like a killer's, like Zodiac killer.
Okay, hell yeah, serial. Ooh, oh my God, let's go serial killers, and then let's go Austin and Houston.
That's funny because when we were talking earlier, I had Jeffrey Dahmer in my head.
I love it. I love it. Okay, what about you,
That
Danica?
is funny because I've been thinking about like missing people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay, let's go
Yeah.
missing people.
Let's just make a whole theme of it. I would like to talk about the indigenous women, how many of them have gone missing and why they are targeted.
Yes, indigenous women. And then I would like to go, we're going to kind of tie that together to where does religion and ritual go into this? All right. That's a fun
Very cool.
talk.
Yay.
You guys have a wonderful week. I'll see some of y'all in the mix of it all, but I love you. I love you. Love you. And obviously, if we need anything, we've got the group chat. So,
Yep.
my favorite part about this is, yes, we're helping others, but we also get, I don't go to readers at all. And it's so beautiful because I trust you guys so fully and you guys are so gifted. So I'm almost like, oh my God, I can finally have some questions answered. So thank you guys so much. I love you
Thank
to death.
you.
I love you to life.
Love you.
Love
All
y'all.
right.
It was a great